something. Please be sitting kindly right, please. I want you to give a resounding round of applause to Pastor Victor and his team. Please celebrate. It's not a walk in the park to just wake up and say, I want to organize a conference. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of boldness, a lot of investment financially and otherwise. So, Pastor Victor and the team, I celebrate you. Thank you so much. Please have us. I'm glad to be here. I don't know about you. Are you happy to be here?
Yes.
Are you happy to be here?
Yes.
See, there's going to be a lot of responses in my session. Like our host said, I love communication. So please, when I ask, you try to respond. Thank you so much. So I'll start by sharing something very simple that I believe anybody, anywhere can understand anytime. It's a quote that I have come to embrace as a young and growing lady. I hope everyone can hear me, please. Okay. So this quote goes, clarity is progressive. Clarity is progressive. What you did not know yesterday, you can know today if you choose to. I'll take that again. Clarity is progressive. What you did not know yesterday, you can know today if you choose to. And so, you that is sitting in this room right now, it means that you have chosen clarity and knowledge amongst other options that are out there today, right? You could have been doing any other thing, right? You could have been on your bed, just Netflix and chill, or do any other thing, anything, laundry, anything. It's Saturday, by the way, and photo students just like to stay indoors and sleep on Saturdays. I mean, after the sun, Monday to Friday, who wants any stress on Saturday? But here you are because you are choosing knowledge and clarity amongst other options. And so please, now I want you to celebrate yourself. Celebrate. This is not for you, this is for yourself. So celebrate yourself. And I also want to thank all the amazing speakers that are here today. The beautiful, handsome, special guests and everyone. I celebrate all the speakers. And it's so good to meet every one of you. My friend Emmanuel Johnson is here, all the way from Port Harcourt. And I mean, it's so good to see you here. So my name is Udokang, like you heard. I am a young lady who just loves to grow. I think that's a summary of everything that anybody would say is a bio or anything. I'm just a young lady who loves to grow. I enjoy growing. I don't like staying on the same spot day in, day out. If I'm here today, tomorrow I should take a step further. That's just what I believe. And that's just how I've been living my life by the grace of God. So yes, I'm also a photo student, a doctor in the process, just in case you need to know that. And I've been asked to speak today on the topic that says clarity of calling. Clarity of calling. Positioning yourself in purpose for global relevance. And honestly, I want to say another thank you to Pastor Victor. He did such a great job laying that foundation, like from his own session. I don't know if any other person was listening or paying attention, but it's very important as people who are interested in growth to actually know the seasons of your life, and he did a wonderful job. So he made my work easier, so I'll just go straight to the point, right? Clarity of calling. So if you hear the word clarity, what comes to your mind? Let's start from there. I said I like communication. If you know me, if you're around me, there are some people in this room that know me before, and I can see Sir John Dixon. I can see my friend from pre-degree. 3 of us, we met the man on the keyboard actually. That is, I don't want to go into his story now, but he's an excellent person, just like his name implies. And so if you know me, you know I love communication. So I'm asking, when you hear the word clarity, what comes to your mind? Without doubt. I love that. Please can we celebrate him for that? That was so spot on. Without doubts. Like you are so clear about that thing. It's like waking up in the morning, getting a notification that you're having lectures today, departmental lectures. Will you start asking someone which department am I in? You already know your department. You already know where you're headed. Like you're in Futo, you came into Futo because you got admission to study a course, right? And you know your department. So anytime you pick up your phone, Coursework is typing. If you are in biomedical engineering, you cannot be thinking that that information is for you to come to optometry for a lecture, right? You are clear, you are certain. And so clarity of calling. I'll just start by saying that your calling is an invitation to do something higher than you, to do something bigger than your strength, actually. Your calling is an invitation to something higher than you, to do something bigger than you, something bigger than your strength. It's usually something that stirs up, a lot of questions in your heart. When you find your calling or you get to know your calling, one of the questions you find yourself asking most of the times is how? Because you can look at it and it's looking so big and you're like, oh, how am I even going to do this thing? Where do I start from? But I don't know if we have any non-Christian brethren in the house. If we have, apologies to you, please. I'm a Christian unapologetically. So I would always make my reference back to God, to scriptures, to the Holy Spirit, just in case you hear me say that a lot today. So I attended a program over the weekend and the preacher said something. He said, your concern in the journey of life is not to figure out the how. Yours is just to believe. So there is someone that has called you to something bigger, and so it's important, it's foundational to understand that you don't need to get worked up over the how. Leave that to God, leave that to the person that called you, right? What does this mean? That you should not have an idea of what you are doing? No. What I'm trying to say is, you don't need to be overwhelmed by something you don't know yet. You just need to strategically learn to actually discover that thing. Am I talking to someone here today? So you don't need to get worked up over something you don't know yet. You don't need to get worked up over a future you don't have an idea of yet. You don't need to sit and feel like a failure because people are doing this or that and you feel like you've not even started. What you should do is actually sit back and strategically learn. The first step to global relevance is learning. You have to learn. You have to sit with yourself. You have to ask questions. You have to learn. You don't have to start feeling, oh, my mates are doing this and I'm not doing that. Oh, I know Pastor Victor does on the 4 seasons of life. And perhaps there's someone in this room that you are seeing that maybe for you, you're just a few months to 25 and you're like, man, what have I been doing in my life? Or you just feel very useless. Because sometimes we find ourselves in situations where you feel like, that person that is doing that thing, that person has to hate me, what have I been doing since? Let me just help you calm your nerves. You don't need to be worked up, you just need to learn the right thing. And that's why this topic, I believe, was considered important today. Clarity of calling. I don't have so much to share like that. And please, when I have just 10 minutes to go, let me be notified. Our host, please, once I have 10 minutes to go, let me be notified. So I want to start my session by telling you a story. And it's actually about myself, yes. Maybe I could have done a suspense kind of thing and at the end I'll say, guess who that person is. But no, I don't want to do that. So I'll just go straight to the point. This is my story, and me sharing my story doesn't mean, okay, she has seen it all, she has arrived, she has done. No, I'm still learning. I'm still growing, just like you're sitting here to learn in this conference today. I came with my ears, my heart, my mind, everything. I'm learning from every single speaker. So I just grew up as this child who is very curious. Normally children are very curious, they're always asking questions. But I think that my own was somehow different because it used to shock people the kind of questions I used to ask. I used to ask questions. I used to sit down with my dad, bless his soul. My dad was a doctor, and I used to sit down with him and I'd be asking him questions. And my dad was Sometimes you just look at me, not because he doesn't know the answer to the question, but he's just like, which child are you again? Like, how did you come about all these questions? I will sit down as far back as primary school into early secondary school. I would ask my dad things like, okay, so this clinic that you are running, many years to come, how is it going to continue if you are not here, if you try? See the kind of questions I was asking. My mates were asking, Mommy, when are you buying my next school bag? Me, I don't know what was driving me, but now I understand it was just my calling. And so I would sit down, I prefer just sitting and asking questions than playing. In fact, people that are close to me know that I said this a lot, I did not play during my childhood. Yes, when people ask me, what were you doing? You are too serious, but I'm like, it's not my fault, I did not play during my childhood. I was thinking. That's not to make you feel anyhow. Please, I hope you enjoy the childhood. It's not that I'm trying to learn how to play actually. So I would sit and I would ask a lot of questions, and then I discovered that I actually love writing. I write. By God's grace, this year I became a published author, and I'm currently still working on my next book. And I actually plan to write one book this year, but when I started writing one book, I was like, I think I can do one, I can do three. So glory to God, I published the first, writing the second. Hopefully we'll finish the third before my birthday in December. So I just noticed that I enjoyed writing. I mean, I don't mean copying notes in class, so in fact, little confession, I was a very lazy pupil when it came to copying notes. I'm not even going to lie. My notes were never complete. Only when I hear that the teacher is going to check, that's when I'll rush. They're clapping. Well, that's when I'll run to go and copy my notes. I did not enjoy copying notes, but I loved writing. I just love sitting down in my head and then I'm able to communicate what it is that I'm thinking of this. I'm able to bring it out into writing so that other people can read. I don't know why, but I just enjoyed it. Not really stories, funny enough. I did not write stories like all these children's story books that people. I would sit down and just be thinking of how to. I would just be imagining that there's someone somewhere feeling discouraged, feeling down, feeling uncertain, and I just feel like I have the right words I can write, and this person would see this writing something, and the person would just feel lifted. That was just how I came about my major skill. So I used to do a lot of random writing. My house, my room, I shared the room with my sister, but I had more than half of that room because I had books littered everywhere. Patches of my notes, inspiration, and all whatnot. I would just write. My mom would wake up in the night, come to the parlor, I'm just seated and I'm writing. And my mom is like, "Come, this girl, what are you writing since?" I'm like, "Mommy, let me just be writing." I just enjoyed it. And so for me, then, I was not doing it because I knew I could make money from writing or I really knew that I could do anything big from writing. I just knew that something within me was driving me to write. And I just obeyed that nudge in me. I think my favorite definition of success that I've heard in my life so far is by one of my favorite preachers, Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, that's T.D. Jakes' daughter. She said something. She said, success is obeying the nudge in you to be better than who you were before. And it made sense to me. I heard that over like 4 years or 3 years now, and that definition of success has just been with me. Obeying the tiny nudge. So that's just what I was doing then. Something was driving me. We all understand that God did not just create us and throw into the world for nothing, right? At least for the most of us here, we are Christians. We know that there is a God that exists. There is a God that created us, right? Please, I need responses. Yes. Okay, and we believe that God did not just sit down and create it because he was bored or because he was looking for let me just get my hands busy with something. God created you specifically because there's a purpose that you're meant to fulfill, right? And he sent you on the earth. And when you now come on the earth, you now discover that over time there will be a particular thing that you just feel you can't explain how, but you are just driven towards, and that's when you can now say, oh, I think this is my calling, right? You just realize that whether or not you are paid to do this thing, you enjoy doing it, you do not care who is looking at you, you just want to do it, it makes you feel fulfilled, and you just know that is your calling. So that was my story. And in 2019, One of those days, my sister, okay, then I was praying to come to Kuto for my pre-degree program, and my sister, thank God for my family. I would always say that I don't know, I heard people say that when you want to succeed or when God has called you to something, maybe a ministry or something, most times He will tell you to detach from your family. For many people, it happens. For the most people, but for me, I don't know if I'll get to a point where God will tell me that kind of thing. But for now, I know that my family has been a big part of my journey. I can't even lie. I celebrate those people everywhere I get the opportunity to, whether or not they are there. So my sister told me, baby girl, you write a lot, and this you're writing, you spend energy writing, but you're not directing this writing to anything. How about you take up a class online? That was when I got my first phone, actually from a writing competition in secondary school. I came second place in the state, and then I was given like a cash prize. That's how I got my first Android phone. My parents just added a little to it, and I got my first Android phone. So my thought was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to someone that I know is a great writer online. I want you to learn from him. You have money now. You're not yet in school, so use your money, pay for the class. Then it was 5,000 naira. I was like, okay, bye. So she gave me the guy's contact. I don't know if anybody has heard of Emmanuel Akpe. That was my first writing teacher. Then I learning content writing, copywriting, how to structure your writing, finding the audience, the right audience for your writing. So you see how the whole thing started adding up. And then it was in that class that I started asking myself, okay, so if everybody's writing and they have a niche they are writing for, who am I writing for? Am I just writing for anybody or everybody? And then from the things I learned in the class, I realized that I enjoy writing to young people. I enjoy writing to young people to, just help them understand that being a youth is having so much energy, and if you direct it to the right place, you would actually enjoy your life after your youthful stage is over. So that was just, you see how I'm saying it was still kind of scattered in my head. I'm just saying that story as it has happened. It's not like I woke up one morning and I knew, okay, this is my vision statement. No, I just picked up that, okay, I enjoy writing to young people. Why? Because I feel like I can talk to young people about maximizing the energy they have as young people. So I just started picking all of that, and then I started directing my writing in that direction. Then I think along the line, one time I just thought, well, I'm always writing, and I'm not even sure if people are going to read. Then I learned how to create a broadcast on WhatsApp. So I just reached out to a few friends of mine. I was like, hey, how about I share my writing with you? Like when I write, I just send to you. They're like, no problem. I don't think we're up to 10 in that group or that broadcast. I named it Her Thoughts. That was what I named it. So I would write and dump it there. And then people would read and they'll be like, oh, I was always amazed every time someone read something that I wrote, and they'll be like, listen, this piece was so good. Or someone would just be like, how did you know that this is something I just needed for the time? And every time I write, I'm always getting that kind of review, like, you just spoke to me directly, you just spoke to me. That was when I knew that there has to be something more than just this content writing that I think I'm just doing randomly. That was when I started asking God, okay, so what exactly are you telling me? Okay, by the way, I entered Kuto, got into a fellowship, everywhere I'm hearing purpose. I'm like, which one is purpose again? Somebody cannot just live like, which one is all this purpose? Like, you know that moment you're feeling like, if you have not discovered your purpose, you're wasting your life, you know that kind of. And I was like, God, I pray, go help your daughter, people. What have I entered again? I started feeling that kind of tension again. I started feeling the pressure to be able to tell someone, oh, this is my purpose. That's why I started by saying, clarity is progressive. You don't need to be worked up if you don't know the exact thing yet. If you don't discover the exact calling yet, you don't need to be worked up. You just need to calm down and learn the right thing. Because I got tensed up due to this whole purpose talk and everything that, thank God for the mercies of God. If not, I would have followed either a company that I don't know where it would have landed me today, or I would have just been so lost in life because I was trying to, impress people. Okay, then let's be that when I come out, I'm able to tell people, this is my purpose. But really, if you do all those you still get it wrong. At the end of the day, the message is still not right. you have still not gotten your calling. So it's better you calm down, you pay attention to what God is telling you, you learn. And so then fast forwarded to I think 2 years or 1 year down the line after I entered Udo, I now started seeing, the picture started forming in my head. Everything started kind of coming together. I was like, what am I writing for? I write for clarity. So, how about, instead of just this broadcast and sharing my content, how about a larger group where young people can come together, they can meet people that are like-minded, that just want to grow, and then I called it Clarity Hub. That was how the journey of whatever I'm building today actually started. And then I called it Clarity Hub. That's what led to my first conference. My first conference was a virtual conference in 2022. I called it a Young People Conference because I felt like in Clarity Hub, if you get the right knowledge as a young person, you can actually leap over certain obstacles. So that's just the basic story behind everything that I started doing. So then I had my first physical conference where most of my friends here were there. Manuel Johnson was the speaker, my friend Victor was there, so many other my friends. There were just 57 in that room. That was my first physical conference. And then it was still Clarity Hub at the time. Then it was, when you are beginning to get a sense of purpose for your life, you now understand that the demand for your growth is higher. You now understand that you are growing not just for yourself, but now you understand that God called you for a certain people. And if you are not growing, you are robbing those people of what they should benefit from you, right? So if you are in the category of people that have already found your calling, I want to tell you that it's not something to sleep with. It's not something you go back home and you are just so relaxed about it. You have to understand that there's a people tied to it. So because of that demand of growth, now I had a team from something I just started from something I love doing. I had a team of people putting together a conference. I think it was in my 200, what level is that now? 2023. And bringing a speaker from outside to all those things like, thank God for Emmanuel Johnson. Thank God for Emmanuel Johnson because then he had had his own conferences in school already. So I was able to run to him and say, Kai, how to do this thing? I remember the night before my conference, Manu, do you remember that night? I literally cried. Hey, I was like, who said me walk? And for just who said me walk? But, so, what am I trying to say? Clarity of calling is not a destination, it's a journey. It's something you walk in and it progresses. It's not something you just arrive at, boom, okay, now I am so clear, I am so certain. You will get to that point because if you're asking, so when we're like, yes, you will get to that point. But I'm telling you that even when you get to that light bulb moment that you feel like, oh, now it's so clear, there's still more to that work. So, if I don't achieve anything with this topic given to me today, I want to address two categories of people. The first, the set of people that feel like, I'm not yet clear about my calling, I've not yet found my calling. I've already addressed you by telling you, you don't need to get worked up. Just learn the right things. Just learn the right things. Strategically ask yourself, what do I feel like I don't like doing, what I enjoy doing? If it don't make sense, try from there, try learning. You start from the general and then you get to the specific. So your calling will not just be thrown at you like that, like a light bulb. You can start from a general setting. You are going for different events. You're just learning different Pastor Victor says something. He said acquire knowledge. Just go for knowledge, and you're just going for knowledge, and then you just realize that with time everything begins to make sense. The dots begin to connect and everything. That's the first set of persons I'm addressing. The second set of persons are the people that are already clear about their calling. You already know that you are called to this. You already have an idea that this is what I said, that your calling is an invitation to something higher, right? Is someone still following me? I did say that your calling is an invitation to something higher. So for you you feel like you have already found that calling, you've already, received that invitation to that higher thing. I want you to know that there's no room for complacency. There's no room for complacency in the journey of a man's calling. There's no room for complacency. If you are going to be while doing something on a global scale, there's no room for complexity. You can't just be satisfied with, okay, I'm clear about my calling now, so let everybody go to sleep, I'm clear about my calling. It can't be all that there is to your purpose. So, clarity of calling is something that progresses. And then, okay, back to my story. So, okay, this story doesn't have an end yet because I'm still alive, I'm still doing what I do. I think maybe it's only when I pass on, if Christ, doesn't come so fast, it's when I pass on that maybe this story maybe may have an end, but will not, I know, because it will be carried on, right? Legacy. So from Clarity Hub, then I realized that the demand for growth was becoming pressing. When you are leading a team and people are coming to you, as small as I was, people will come to me, ma. So what is the next thing we are doing now? And sometimes in my mind, I'll just be like, even these people know that Mr. Bam is confused like this. These people just give me the rest. What is it? Every time. I'll carry my phone and see message from my team members. Ma, so just that. So what's the way forward? I'm like, find the way forward now. This is about following when you find the way. And so I realized that the demand for growth was increasing, right? So I couldn't just be sleeping. One of the things that makes you a leader is that you are able to see the way, you are able to go the way, and you are able to show the way to others. So I knew that if I'm leading people now, I have to be, if I used to be one step ahead, I have to be 10 steps ahead. Because people are going to come, they're going to ask me questions. I can't be telling these people every time they come to ask me questions, oh, let me go and pray about it. It's a lie, though. It will get to the point to know that she's just running away from answering because she was not new. So, I had to step up to the demands of growth. I had to start taking personal retreats. I had to start, intentionally avoiding certain kinds of distractions. There are times that I would have money and I know what that money can do for me if I take it to the store and I just want to get one cool human hair or one thing like that. I know what that money can do for me, but I would rather put it into a training. I would rather buy a course. I would rather pay for a conference that I want to go and sit and learn. So the demands, your calling is one thing to be clear about your calling, but even when you are clear about your calling, it's another thing to step up to the demands of your calling. Because many are called, but I heard a preacher say this at church, many are called, but few have the courage to start. And even when you started, many are called, many have started, but few have the courage to carry on. So if you are going to be positioned in purpose for global relevance, then you have to understand that in the school of calling, there is no room for complacency. There is no room for complacency. And then I had to start doing all of those things intentionally and all of that. There have been times that they send me feeding money. In fact, I think I can count how many times. I'm 500 level now. And I think all through my stay in Udo, I can count how many times that, thank you. I can count how many times that I was sent money and that money was meant for feeding and I actually used it for feeding. Please, I'm not telling you to go and spend your money like me, but I'm just saying that for me, there were many times that I diverted resources and stuff like that because I just wanted to get knowledge. I just wanted to learn better. And in the midst of all of those things, everything is becoming clearer. I started seeing that blessing is not just about writing, it's not just about sharing content on social media, it's actually about a calling that is higher than you. And then I started seeing that in this my lifetime, I'm going to walk this earth, not just as an individual, I'm going to walk this earth as an institution. And that institution is going to live after me, even when I'm gone. So I started investing, I started carrying that mindset. You see now what that clarity did for me. As the clarity of calling came, I just realized I could not think local again. I could not think small again. I started thinking global stages. I started thinking outside of photo. Where will my company, where will my institution, where will the physical structure be established? I just started knowing that it has to be something beyond just the local. And so, one thing I will just share is that clarity does not just happen. So, because I know someone here may have the question that, okay, Ma, can you give me a practical steps? How do I actually get to the point where I get this clarity? I'm going to tell you Three things that clarity answers to. One, clarity answers to a genuine desire to grow. Clarity answers to a genuine desire to grow. Clarity does not just answer when there is no desire. Clarity will not just come and hit you when you are not desiring. You don't have any desire to grow, and the clarity will just hit you. It doesn't happen like that. There has to be a genuine desire for growth, and then clarity will answer. The second thing is clarity answers to focused attention. So I tell this to many people that I have the privilege of leading today, and I say this every time. As a young person who wants to do great and mighty things, yes, God has called you to the nations and all of that, we know. But you know that if you actually don't do certain things, you will remain on the same level for long. In fact, you can live and die and nobody knows your name. So if you are saying that, okay, I am that young person and I want to do this much because God has invested so much in me, your attention must be focused. You can't be giving your energy to everything. You can't be throwing your energy to sin. One thing that calling will help you realize is that not every good thing is appropriate for you. Not every good thing is appropriate for you. I said I'll take references from the Bible. You know, Paul said, it's not that all these things are not good though, but there's just some things that are not expedient for me to do. And so when you have answered that calling, or when you realize your calling, you will understand that you can't be in every gathering. It may be good, but it may not be for my calling. If a session, as good as it may sound, maybe an event or something, it can be so good, but it's not just for me at the time. Because at that same time, I can be investing it in something else that is in line with my calling. And the third thing I'm going to tell you that clarity answers to is necessary actions. You can't be sitting. If you get this thing, and I pray you do, it will change a lot of things. You can't be sitting and expecting that opportunities or global stages will come at your beck and call. Yes, I'm not negating the fact that as Christians, we have the place of speaking into our future. You speak what you want to see. You speak that doors be open. You speak opportunities be opening. What are you done speaking in your room? That same energy you used to speak, use that same energy and take the necessary actions. Use that energy and do the needful. The needful step for you at this point may just be a nudge you that's telling you need to lock yourself in for at least one day and just reflect on your life so far. We are in a generation that is so noisy that people trivialize the place of retreat and all those things. See, in fact, what someone would say clarity of calling, it came to me very clearly during one of the times I just took a personal retreat. My friends were traveling for a conference in, I think that was in or something like that. I didn't really have the resources then put together. And I could have just sat and I would have just felt so bad about it. My friends are going, they will have fun, they'll meet people and all of that. So I just took my mind off it. Then I was still staying with the roommate. So I told one of my friends I was traveling. I told her, I know my time is, please just give me a few minutes to tie this up because I'm sorry, but I just believe that if we are gathering like this to learn, we should actually learn. Let's not just gather and go back the same way. So I'd rather deliver than just rush over time because I'm not interested in you being changed from what you hear in this place today. So I could have just felt bad and all of that. My friends were traveling for a conference, blah blah blah, and I was not going. But what I did instead, I told one of my friends I was going. I said, hey, yeah, how fun now? Can I come and use your house I just want to stay there for like 3 days while we are gone. And she was like, oh, fine, no problem. It's you now. Enter the house, there's kitchen if you want to eat. I told her, don't worry, I'm not even coming to eat. Just give me the keys. So she gave me the keys. I went there. I told myself that I was going for just a personal retreat. That was after my conference. Last year. I've had conferences in the past, but that particular conference last year, that conference stretched me in a way that I did not even see coming. That was when I understood that sometimes when you are praying to God and asking God for global stages, God would respond with responsibilities. Sometimes you're praying to God, you're asking for strength, you're asking for clarity. God would respond with opportunities for you to take responsibility. And that you actually walk into the clarity that your destiny requires. So when you see that God is opening up a door of opportunity and you need to take it, your spirit is already bearing witness and you're still sitting because you're waiting for one audible thunder from heaven to say, my son, I opened this door for you. Okay. I don't know, maybe it will happen for you, but I don't know. Me, I've moved, I'm not waiting again. So I went for that retreat. Of course, I'm a believer, so I started out praying and fasting. I was just asking God certain questions. Because that conference last year, you might not understand so much. I cried many times. 1 week to the conference, I was saying, I want to cancel this conference. What is it, self? I'm not going to kill myself and die. It's not happening. Is it not just to tell some colleagues that please don't come again. I beg, don't be angry. I'll tell Apostle to moment else that please don't cancel the conference. And all my speakers, somebody see what just said them, don't come again. I will die. But then I still push, right, regardless. My friend will always say we keep pushing regardless. And so when I took that retreat, now just in case this is for you and you know that maybe you need to take a step back and reflect and evaluate your life, I want to let you know you cannot do that without asking questions. You need to ask yourself questions. You can't do that kind of reflection without asking questions. There are certain questions you have to ask yourself. How did I get to this point where I am in my life? What are the things that I have been? What are the things I've been doing? What are the people I've been working with that led me to this place? Okay, now this place that I am, is it good enough for where I feel like God is taking me to? Is it the right place I ought to be? If it is the right place, okay, fine. What do I need to double up on that would help me move further? If it's not the right place, what do I need to stop doing? What are the habits I need to let go of for me to actually move to that place of global relevance? And so that's why I said that clarity will answer to necessary actions. And so I've already said that growth and clarity is a process. I'm beginning to round up now. I don't know if there will be time for questions later, but just in case you have any questions, please note it down. I'm sure the organizers will let you know how you can have your questions answered. I already said that growth and clarity is a process. Please, let me also say, don't be in a hurry. Don't hurry yourself out of the process. It's a process, guys. Don't hurry yourself. Don't feel the pressure. Social media is a good thing. It's a big blessing to us in this generation, but it's also causing a lot of detriment to many people that we can never imagine. So God has given you a calling. You are clear about your calling. You know that the process that you are taking is for that purpose of your calling, and you are going to the nations, so you know God has called you to the nation. But just because of what someone posted on TikTok, you go home and you're depressed for 1 month. You cannot come out. You cannot do what God has told you to do. Seriously. Because of something that you saw someone post. And I hope you know that people present themselves in the way they want you to see them. If I want to start posting on my TikTok account or anything as a particular kind of person, I just need to know how to stand when they're taking the pictures. I need to know how to just be around certain people, certain things. And you catch that perspective of me. It doesn't mean that you know me. So it's sad that our generation really hurry themselves out of the process because of something they see on social media, and you see that these people are achieving something, but you forget that it did not just start, they did not just happen at that place. It took a process, and you too have to give yourself to that process. So now I'm really rushing. I'm really rushing. So part of my topic is positioning yourself in purpose, right, for global relevance. I've already talked of clarity of calling. I believe that you've learned something from that, right? So positioning yourself in purpose, I will just share with you some things that it requires very quickly. The first thing, it requires the right message. If you are going to be positioned for global relevance, you must carry the right message. People are not going to call you to come and deliver a message that is not your calling. If you are going to be positioned for global relevance, then you must have the right message. That's why we talked about it. We spent time talking about clarity, how you can get it and all of that, right? So at the point you get there, you would realize that now you are clear about your calling and all of that. That now becomes your message. I didn't just wake up and I wasn't just born into the clarity of the fact that God is calling me to help young people come out of identity confusion, which by the way is the mandate, the message I carry everywhere. That's why you see anywhere I go, I'm always giving topic related to clarity. Because I just want to have that place of letting people know that identity confusion doesn't have to keep you stagnant in your growth process. So the second thing that global relevance will require of you, the right people. Pastor Victor already talked about that, and so I'm not going to get into that. You know, he said something that I like when he was giving the illustration of when he met Manuel Johnson. He did not approach him immediately, right? Because he knew that he needed to build something. He knew that for me to enter this relationship, I need to get some things right. So the right people, you have to know how to nurture the right relationships. Relationships do not just stay because you wish they stay. It takes effort. It takes effort. Any kind of relationship takes effort. Whether even when it's a romantic relationship and people are like, oh, it's love, I love this person, it still takes effort. So the right people, and you have to know how to nourish those relationships. The third thing I would say, the right places. You have to know how to be in the right place. Do you have to be in this room at this time? If yes, why? If no, why not? Let's ask yourself those questions. And sometimes, again, because I believe that most of us here are believers, you have to let the Spirit of God lead you. There's no time. I'm not going to that story, but you have to learn how to allow the Spirit of God lead you. I've seen times in my growth journey that I was just on my own, I did not plan it, and God said, go here, you have to be in this place. And I will find it. I'm a very inquisitive person, so I will ask God 101 questions. Why are you telling me? Why am I going to? What if I go to this place now? And what if something happens? What if I leave my house now and maybe someone comes looking for me and the person misses me? What if I go to this place and they don't even recognize me for that reason? That why are you telling me to? So I will ask God, and plenty times He will tell me when you are ready for your answer, you actually stand up and start going. Okay, after all, is it that He's Lord of all or not Lord at all, right? So I'll stand up. And I've seen it open doors of opportunity. So you have to know how to discern the right places that you have to be per time. Then the right skills. As a leader that is positioning for global relevance, you have to invest in the right skills, some basic skills. I'm not talking graphics design, I'm not talking, those are good. I'm talking of basic life skills. Talking of something like communication. If you walk up to someone that is meant to partner with you for your vision, do you know how to communicate to that person? Do you know how to present yourself in a way that would leave this person, shaking hands with you for a collaboration? You need to learn communication. It will open doors for you in places you would never think. And then you need a great deal of boldness. You can't arrive at a global state of relevance without boldness. Without boldness. You need a lot of boldness. You need a lot of boldness. And boldness is not a feeling. Boldness is something that stays from within, based on what you know, based on the clarity you know, based on what you have been doing in your secret place. Boldness is just an overflow of what has been happening within you. So you need a great deal of boldness. You can't be doing purpose, destiny, calling without boldness. If not, and then the last thing I will just add as a bonus is service. Service, guys, it's not cliche. You can serve your way to the top, literally. Many of the relationships I have today that seem like, oh, you have relationship with the top people and this and that, support that, someone is still one they like. It's service, so it's service. You have to understand the language of service. And I'll close with what I started with, guys. Clarity of calling is progressive. What you did not know yesterday, you can know today if you choose to know it. Clarity is progressive. What you did not know yesterday, you can know today if you choose to know it. My name is Udokang. Thank you so much.